Power 105.1.
Here we go. It's Power 105.1, home of the Breakfast Club. Angie Martinez and Hip Hop and R&B. It's your guy, EmEz. This is the Sunday Sit Down, and across from me is actor Brandon Durden. How are you, sir?
I'm very well. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. You're on this hit series that apparently is blazing America, and it's called The Americans, correct?
That's correct.
I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen it, but I've seen the commercials for it, and it's like a couple, right?
Yeah.
In Russia, like the spies and espionage type stuff,
Yeah,
right?
well, we're actually in America. They are Russian-born.
Okay.
But the cool setup is that they are pretending to be American citizens, and they've had kids and raising them as American citizens, but they are really KGB. And so I play FBI detective Dennis Adderholt, and we're hot on the case. And so we're 4 seasons in, about to start filming on season 5. So it's not too late to catch up. All seasons are on Amazon Prime. I guess the first 3 seasons, season 4 probably come out a little later. So you can catch up by the time season 5 comes out.
I'm going to have to do that. Yeah. I have to. Yeah. It must be fun, because I want to be an actor one day. And I think that the whole espionage, FBI, CIA has got to be fun to play. Tell me how that is playing that.
Yeah, well, actually, the most fun part is that this show is set in the 80s, in the Cold War. So the tension between America and Russia just couldn't be any hotter. So finding, working in espionage and counterterrorism and counter spy in the FBI at this point is not the same. We don't have cell phones. We don't have GPS trackers. You don't have none of that technology. So what's really fun is trying to imagine a world without the technology that's at our fingertips.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's a lot slower paced. Things just don't happen as quickly as they do. And I think that's probably the most exciting element of the show is how paced out and how measured it is versus today where things are just blowing and immediate and he's there, boom, let's go get him. Bah, 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 bah. Mm-hmm. No, it's a sit and wait.
Wow, yeah. Like stakeouts back in the
day. Yeah. But, and the way the show goes is that you're waiting, and then all of a sudden the bottom drops out, and then you find yourself 100 feet up on a cliff, and you're just dropping, 100 miles and running, and it just takes off when the pieces do finally come together. So it's a really smart show, and it's for patient people who like great payoffs.
Yeah, so. See, that's my next question. What are some of the things you watch on TV when you're not at work?
Or House of Cards.
I watch that as well,
That's a favorite. I got a 2-year-old son, so we got a lot of Sesame Street.
Daniel Tiger?
Clues.
Yeah, Daniel Tiger.
Here's my beef with Daniel Tiger. Here's my beef with Daniel Tiger is that Daniel Tiger is too vocal about all of his feelings. And so my son, and he's 2, right? And so he comes, and sometimes he'll just look up, and if I tell him, no, he can't have that candy, he'll say, I'm so frustrated. I'm so angry, Daddy. Like, are you kidding me? And this is all Daniel Tiger.
Yes.
Or he told me the other day when it was time for him to go to bed, he goes, Daddy, I'm disappointed. Like, what? That's fine, but you're still going to bed, man.
Oh, I mean, when I was a kid, they always told you to keep your feelings inside. These next generations of kids are not going to be that.
Nah, honestly, I am thankful that my son has the vocabulary, even at 2, to express himself, so I don't have to guess, what he wants and what he's feeling. But, to a degree, I'm like, well, can't Daniel Tiger teach him how to move past that? No, we don't see that part. He's just naming it.
Oh, I definitely didn't think I'd be talking about Daniel Tiger in this interview today.
Hey,
it's the Sunday
part
Sit
of
Down.
Our world now, yeah.
It's the Sunday Sit Down. Your main man, EmEz. Brandon Durden's in the building. Give me some of your first early encounters of acting.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, yeah, my very first job. I was in the 1st grade. We were doing Jack and the Beanstalk. I got to play Jack.
Okay.
And
lead role?
Oh yeah. And at the end of the play, I climb up the beanstalk, I chop the beanstalk, kill the giant, and I get to hold the hand of the goose who laid the golden egg. Mm-hmm. And that was a young girl I had a crush on, from day one. And that was the closest I ever got to touching her, And so that set it off. If I got to touch the girl's hand who I had the crush on, I was done. That was the acting was for me.
How old were you then?
I was 6.
So from 6, you knew.
That's it. It was a done deal. It was on lock.
That's amazing to know from an early age that this is what it's going to be, and you get to it.
Well, my dad, he never was an actor by profession, but he loved theater. He did a lot of community theater in Houston, where I'm from, and he had a great appreciation for it. And so he would always encourage myself and my younger brother, who's also an actor. He's actually on the plug for EmEz on Greenleaf, on Oprah's Greenleaf this season. And so he had a love for it, and he actually was my first acting coach. My little brother's acting coach, and so we just grew up with it, but respecting it, not just something like, oh, I want to do this, and yeah, I can act, I'm funny or whatever.
Yeah.
Or I can cry. Nah, it's a real study to it. It's a craft.
Talk to me about your directorial debut. Can't say that. Directorial debut.
Yeah, so last fall I directed a production of August Wilson's 7 Guitars.
What's that about?
It's about set in the 40s. It's about a musician in Pittsburgh who has a hit song. He's trying to go to Chicago, make another hit song, but we got some few setbacks. You may be able to relate to the recording industry and its unfair practices with people of color during that time. So he has some shady managers, and it's just a lot of setbacks to keep him from reaching the top. And but August Wilson, you may know him. He wrote Fences, which Denzel and Viola are doing now, turned into an HBO movie, but Denzel did on Broadway a couple of years back. And August Wilson is probably our preeminent playwright, black, white, Hispanic, otherwise. He wrote 10 plays, each chronicling the African American experience from the 1900s to the 1990s. They were all done on Broadway except for one. Then that's going to Broadway this winter. But he's undoubtedly one of the best playwrights we've ever had.
And how did it come about to on your tape?
To direct that one?
Yeah.
Well, it's at Two River Theater, which is in Red Bank, New Jersey, which I do a lot of work at. I acted in a couple of shows there, and this time they asked if I wanted to direct, and I was crazy enough to say yeah. So I called up my wife, who's a great Broadway actress. I called up my little brother, who's, again, an amazing Broadway actor and TV actor, and they said yeah.
Which one do you like doing more, acting or directing?
You know, it's two totally different disciplines. I think right now, acting I'm still more comfortable with, but directing, man, I like as a director, you get to help other people shine. You know, as an actor, at the end of the day, yeah, you want to shine, even though that's not necessarily your main focus is about shining. It's about telling a story and putting it together. But I really enjoy helping people be the best they're going to be, or taking the audience on a journey. And as a director, you're responsible for that. You're responsible for that story and the experience that each audience member is going to have with that story, the surprises, the heartbreak, the laughter, the everything. And I mean, it's like the conductor, you know, on the train. It's like, hit this stop and this stop. Oh, you think we're done? Nah, we're going full steam ahead, and now we're going to slow it down. It's really cool. So I'm looking forward to my next directorial experience.
Speaking of the Get Down, what's that about?
Oh, now that's the hotness.
Tell me about that. Talk to me.
Yeah, this is Baz Luhrmann's latest creation. Baz, he did like Moulin Rouge, The Great Gatsby.
Great Gatsby, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, and so he's been working on this for about 10 years. And what it does, it takes a look at late 70s New York in the Bronx. And we see the downfall of disco era and the rise of hip hop.
Okay.
And it's an incredible masterpiece. I think it's gonna be. It drops on Netflix August 12th. I guess it's this Friday coming up, right? Yeah. So make sure your Netflix subscription is up to date.
I'm gonna be watching it. Hopefully, I won't be with a young lady Netflix and chilling, but it's definitely gonna be on.
It is Netflix and chill worthy.
Absolutely.
I don't know how much chilling you're gonna get to do because it's so exciting. It's just engrossing and pull you in.
What's the story about?
So it's about these ragtag teens who were feeling, socially disenfranchised, politically, economically disenfranchised in the 70s, in the Bronx area. And so they discover this world, this culture, this music. And that's one thing, it shows you that hip-hop is much more than just music. It's also a culture, and now this show shows the roots of that. Without it being a documentary, we still have historical figures like Grandmaster Flash is a character in the show. And the real Grandmaster Flash is an executive producer and a consultant on the show, so he's around all the time. And that's one thing that Baz Luhrmann did great. He pulled in the founding fathers of this music, and he said, I want to get this right. So Nas is a major contributor on the show. He's written for the show. And then the next thing that Baz Luhrmann did right was he got some incredible writers on his staff, like Stephen Adly Girgis, who wrote a play on Broadway called The MFer with the Hat that Chris Rock did a couple of years back. So he just got the right people. And then he said, I'm going to shoot this thing in New York with New York talent. I mean, we got a lot of mix of people coming in from L.A. too, but you got like Jimmy Smith, Giancarlo Esposito, and then all these other kids who are kind of unknown right now, but are really coming up, like Shamik Moore, who was in Dope. He's one of the
okay, yeah, I know
kids.
you're talking about.
Justice Smith. I play Justice Smith's uncle, kind of, well, like the drunkle.
The drunkle. Never heard that before.
Yeah,
Drunkle.
yeah, and that's a lot of fun. So, I mean, that's probably the coolest thing about being an actor. You get to time travel, you know. So at one point I'm playing Dr. Martin Luther King in the 60s, or I'm playing, you know,
Really?
Yeah, I just did that on Broadway a couple years ago with Bryan Cranston
How was
of
that?
Breaking Bad. That was pretty amazing. That was an amazing experience.
And then playing someone like Martin Luther King and seeing what's going on right now in the world with the police shootings and people shooting cops, how does that make you feel?
How does it make me feel? The cops shooting us, or how does it make me feel?
The whole thing.
It really is. It really makes me feel incredibly sad and almost hopeless to a degree that we're still here. That 50 years later, when I did my research during this time period, because the play was set, right after the assassination of Kennedy, and seeing the struggles that Representative John Lewis had to go through then, and then hear him talk about it 50 years later today, it's like, where really have we come as a country?
How have we really evolved as a country? You're right.
But the response to it, the Black Lives Matter movement, the political response to it is echoing the times of the 60s. So again, that's where the hope comes from. It says we are mobilizing. We are able to collectively, no matter how you feel about the term Black Lives Matter, or if you're Democrat or Republican, everybody says something has to be done. We cannot ignore the inequalities that exist. And so while I'm hopeless that we're still here, I'm also hopeful that with the introduction of social media, with the introduction of the internet, that this information can get out, and so we can respond to it in a quick, and not just quick, but considered and cohesive manner. I'm hopeful that we can achieve that.
Very well said. It's the Sunday Sit Down. It's your main man, EmEz, and Brandon Dirden's in the building. Let's lighten it up. You went to Morehouse, right?
Yes, indeed.
How is it going to a HBC college?
I wouldn't trade it for the world. I really wouldn't. Nah. Let me tell you, the best thing about me going to Morehouse is that Morehouse at the time, we didn't have a theater program, so I had to take all my theater classes at Spelman next door. So I kind of went to Morehouse and Spelman.
Wow.
I was a theater major over there. And so I got the best of both worlds, and I went to 2 HBCUs. But Morehouse and Spelman together, one thing that you never had to question is your value, your self-worth as a person in this country. Because you were surrounded constantly by people who were aiming to be the best at what they do. Not just making it. Not just, let me get this degree and get a good job. No, let me get this degree and let me run a company. Let me get this degree and let me create something the world has never seen. And I think that HBCUs can do that. They can say you have value, not just to exist, but to be a leader in your industry.
Now, we talked about your son earlier.
Yeah.
Would you point him in the HBC direction?
If he wants to. I wouldn't point him away from it, And I got to be very honest, too. The way I got to it is because I had an older brother who was at Xavier, another HBCU, and Freaknik was hot back in the day.
Yes.
So he would go to Atlanta, and he'd tell me, man, this thing called Freaknik. And,
I heard all about that.
I'm 16, 17 years old, getting ready to go to college. Like, I want to go there.
Yes, absolutely.
And so I went through, probably not with the best intentions, but when I got there...
What 18-year-old has the best intentions, really?
Yeah, but when I got there, the world opens up to you, and you see that it has much more. And actually, Freaknik shut down about 2 years after I got there.
Yeah, Atlanta's not the same Atlanta. Freaknik now wouldn't be that kind of Freaknik in Atlanta. Anyways, talk to me about the comments Wendy Williams made about HBCUs and stuff like that.
I think Roland Martin. I think he dealt with that.
Said what he needed to say.
Yeah, I think we do. As I really value internet and social media and the quick dissemination of information, I do value that. But I think we always have to pause and say, is this accurate? Do I have the whole picture? You cannot get the whole picture in a 160-character tweet. You cannot get the full breadth and context of a situation. So I think a lot of times we just aren't wholeheartedly informed. We get a piece of information and don't understand what's behind that. So we got to take more time. We got to be a little more patient before we open up our mouth sometimes.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me,
man. You made me feel a way about Daniel Tiger, though. Zachariah, you better not be so emotional, man.
No, I mean, I don't want to. I think it's important, especially for for my son and little men of color. It's important to be in tune with your feelings and to say and to own up to that and to say I'm frustrated, I'm angry, right?
But not everybody needs to know all the time.
No, I got that.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for sharing. Now let's move on. How do we get? How we get?
Fester in your feelings.
Yeah.
Brandon Dirden is in the building. Is your main man, EmEz. So this Friday is
the Get Down on Netflix dropping. It's binge worthy. I think that's the mark of a show now. It's one thing to get on a show, but you want to be on a binge-worthy show, and the Get Down is definitely binge-worthy.
And we're also looking forward for the Americans, right?
That's right. The Americans.
Next season should be dropping
5.
soon.
That's right. So you got plenty of time to catch up. Make sure you log on to Amazon Prime, subscribe. You also get free shipping when you get Amazon Prime on everything you order. So
I got the Fire Stick. You got the Fire Stick.
Oh, you have the Fire Stick, though. Okay, all right. Got it. Well, you should be able to. You should be able to watch it through the Fire Stick.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. And thank you for coming again. We will make sure to check you out and let them know how to get in contact with you and follow you and all that good stuff.
Right on.
Give me your Instagram, your Twitters, and all that.
Yeah. It is Brandon J Dirden at. No, that's Twitter is just at Brandon J Dirden, right?
Gotcha, yeah.
And then it's the same at Instagram. Yeah. And then I have a webpage. You want to go there, BrandonJDirden.com.
There it goes.
That's it.
Thank you for coming by. I appreciate you.
Oh, my pleasure.
It's the Sunday Sit Down.
Another example of how easy does it. Who y'all want? Oh, yeah. Why not?
Power 1051.